Today, we are going to be talking about 23XI Racing, the whole organization as a whole, and talking about what their expectations will be for 2021 and for the future of that organization. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to our video. I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory around 23XI Racing and talk about all the hype around this organization. To start up, 23XI Racing is a team owned by Denny Hamlin and arguably the biggest figure in sports overall in all of sports landscape, Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. Their driver that they will have for 2021 will drive the number 23, that number 23 that is represented by the number that Michael Jordan used to play with in the NBA. Bubba Wallace is going to be the driver of the number 23. Now, they are going to be a Toyota organization, and they will have full Toyota backing in 2021. The crew chief is someone that has worked with Denny Hamlin for a very, very, very long time. Before 2019, I should say, when Denny Hamlin worked with Chris Gabehart starting 2019, he worked with Mike Wheeler. Mike Wheeler, who's been a competition director over at Levine Family Racing, will be the crew chief for Bubba Wallace in 2021. And also Freddie Kraft, who's worked with Bubba Wallace for the last couple years when he's over Rich Petty Motorsports. He will be moving over with Bubba Wallace to 23XI Racing in 2021 as well. Now, one thing to note is that unlike a lot of teams, they're still struggling to find sponsorship going forward. 23XI Racing's got full sponsorship going forward the 2021 season, as they will have DoorDash, Dr. Pepper, McDonald's, Columbia, and Root Insurance. Really cool to see Dr. Pepper back in the sport, and DoorDash is going to be the major branding on the car. So DoorDash will be the major sponsor, and DoorDash will also be on the car for the Daytona 500. They also are technically going to be a fifth JGR car, though they're not part of the JGR stable. Now, 23XI Racing has a lot of future plans going for them coming up in the next years. They don't just want to be a one-car organization. They want to be a 3 or 4 car organization in the upcoming years. If you look at the plans for what they want to do going forward, they want to have up to 3 or 4 cars. They want to, if you actually look at the showcase room that they announced a few weeks ago, and you take a look at that, actually it was about a month ago, as a matter of fact, the showcase room they had something similar to what Joe Gibbs Racing had, where they have 4 cars, had 4 offices, 4 crew chief stables. Now, Toyota has been looking for a team to kind of back up, all their development, because one of Toyota's biggest issues over the last couple years is that Toyota, they have had a lot of trouble with their development. They've had a lot of problems with that because a lot of their development has left and gone on to other teams. People like Haley Deegan have left their organizations, Eric Jones, a lot of drivers who've driven, and Noah Gragson is another driver I can think of, have left the Toyota stables and they've gone on to either Chevy or they've gone to Ford. So Toyota has had a really lot of trouble of keeping their development. Now, they have picked up some veterans in the Toyota stables. Of course, you have to look at Daniel Hemrick, who's going to JGR this year. They picked up Bubba Wallace, who's going to be with them in 23XI Racing 2021. And you have John Nemechek's going to Kyle Busch Motorsports in 2021 as well. 23XI Racing has a lot of big aspirations in 2021 and going forward as well. As like I said, I think they're going to end up eventually being a 3 or 4 car organization. Now, let's talk about what my expectations are for 23XI Racing for at least the first couple years and what I think about this team overall. There has never overall been hype for an organization like 23XI Racing, and of course a lot of that does come from the fact that Michael Jordan does own that organization, and with Michael Jordan having as much power as he does, this team is going to have a lot of hype, and Michael Jordan wants to bring a lot more people that of color into the sport and to watch the sport as well, which is a really great thing. We like to include diversity in sport, and you want more diversity into the sport as well. And it's great to see that people like Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan are wanting to be more inclusive in the sport as well. When the sport has not always been the most inclusive, they want to be more inclusive and bring a lot of really awesome fans into the sport. So now what overall are my expectations for 23XI Racing, at least for the first year? You do have people that are saying that they're going to completely struggle right away. They're going to run like 25th to 30th all year. They're not going to do very well, and they're going to struggle. And you also have people thinking, oh, they're going to be a championship contender in their first year. They're going to really they're not going to struggle really, since they have full Toyota backing. They're going to be championship contenders right away. To me, I don't think they're going to completely struggle. and I don't think they're going to be a championship contender. I think they're going to be somewhere generally in the middle. It is very hard for a lot of startup organizations, even teams that have foil backings from the manufacturers. It's really hard for a team, especially in their first year, to really get going. A lot of times, these teams are either mid-pack or they tend to struggle. I don't think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to have some decent success going forward. My expectations are, I believe that while some people don't think they're going to make the playoffs, some just think they're just going to miss out on the playoffs in 2021. I think that they're actually going to win one race in 2021, and I'll tell you which race I think they're going to win. And I think that they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to get eliminated in the first round. I think that win that they're going to have in 2021 is going to come at Martinsville Speedway. Martinsville Speedway, especially for Bubba Wallace, is arguably his best racetrack. Bubba Wallace has ran really well. Some of his best runs have come at that racetrack, especially driving for Rich Petty Motorsports. When that equipment generally runs 20th to 25th, Bubba Wallace is overachieving those cars, and a lot of times especially, he's ran in the top 15, and has even led laps at Martinsville International Speedway as well. So I think Bubba Wallace will be very, very fast at this racetrack, especially since Bubba Wallace is really good on short tracks like Martinsville and Bristol. I think that speed, especially with how fast the Joe Gibbs racing cars have generally been over the last couple of years at Martinsville International Speedway, I think that's going to play into Bubba Wallace's factor, and I think Bubba Wallace is going to win the night race at Martinsville early in the spring. I think he's going to do very well as well. I think, like I said, though, other than the Martinsville race, it is going to take that team some time to get up to speed because they have to all get to know each other. They have to all know what they're doing. They have to get used to working with each other for quite some time. And with there being many races this year, without there being practice and qualifying in 2021, it is going to take time for an organization like 23XI Racing to get up to speed. But I think by the end of the year in 2021, they're really getting up to speed. They're going to get a lot of top 10s, a lot of top 15s. I think by the end of the year, they are going to be a consistent top 15 team. But I do think that they're going to have a lot of occasional top 10s. And like I said, I think that they will be eliminated in the round of 16. But they will show their strength early. And I don't think they're going to 100% struggle. But it will take them a little bit of time to really get up to speed. As for the future for this organization going forward, like in 2022 and 2023, I think this is where this team is really going to shine. I think by 2022, we could be talking about Bubba Wallace being a championship contender. I think by 2022 and 2023, if they keep progressing, and I think by then, they will have a lot more drivers drive for them. I think I look at the future if they have the four-car lineup. To me, a future four-car lineup they could truly have is Bubba Wallace, John Nemechek, Derek Kraus, and maybe Chandler Smith driving for their team if Joe Gibbs Racing doesn't have enough going forward. John Nemechek, I think, will end up driving for the team as early as 2022. John Nemechek just went back, to the Kyle Busch Motorsports stable. And I look at, because Toyota doesn't have a lot of room, if John Hunter performs really well, especially Kyle Busch Motorsports this year, I think he could, in the foreseeable future, he could be up at 23XI Racing and drive for them, because he does have a lot of Cup experience. He ran quite a few Cup races in 2020. Yes, he ended up having the most incidents in a season, but he also had some times where he was contending for Front Row Motorsports. The Front Row really wasn't a great organization overall. As for Bubba Wallace, this is the best career opportunity Bubba Wallace has had. He's never really been at a top-tier organization, and I think in 2021, Bubba Wallace is really going to shine as a driver. I've always been a huge fan of Bubba Wallace. Yes, I know Bubba Wallace is a very, very controversial driver with some of the things he has said, but sometimes they will give you some really good opportunities, and Bubba Wallace has been able to get some really, really strong opportunities. And I think Bubba Wallace in 2021 is going to put up a lot of good performances, especially, and I think that we are going to see some really great things from Bubba Wallace going forward throughout his career. This is a great treachery move, and this is also a really good thing for Denny Hamlin, because the question now is, how long does Denny Hamlin race in NASCAR with him becoming an official owner? I think that Denny Hamlin's looking toward the future because he's looking at the ownership side. And you also think about this as well with the next-gen car as well. I don't think it's just because of Bubba Wallace. And Denny Hamlin looks this is a really good opportunity for him to get into the ownership game. So I think this is a great move for Denny Hamlin as well, somewhere where he can go after his career is done. I think Denny Hamlin also is looking at this as well because of the next-gen car. But he's also looking at this as well because he is getting to the latter stage of his career. Denny Hamlin is a lot older of a driver. He's 40 years old, going to be turning 41 in 2021. And Denny Hamlin, a lot of drivers, especially when you get up to this age, start thinking about the end of their careers and a retirement. So Denny Hamlin could also race for another 5 years in NASCAR. It's very, very possible. But I think overall that Denny Hamlin might not be racing that much longer in NASCAR. It's very possible that could be the case. So, anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about 23XI Racing and how they were going to perform in 2021. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's NASCAR video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you get me notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's video. How do you think 23XI Racing is going to perform in 2021? Do you think that they're going to struggle in 2021? Or do you think that they're going to perform really, really well and outshine the competition going forward? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon. Links in the description below for that. And like I said, if you enjoyed today's video and you like this channel, make sure you like this video so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. The support in 2020 is really appreciated, and 2021 is going to be a really, really big year for this channel. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.